Packers, Matt LaFleur. Domofsky is with us here. This was a very entertaining little moment. Let's just roll it, and then we'll see how it felt.
I'm really happy for our guys.
Hey guys, real quick, Mike is going to do it in the locker room, so if you're waiting on Mike to hear, it's going to be in the locker room.
But then we look like ass.
No, you can go. I don't care. He had a career night. I mean, I don't blame you, Rob.
Feel like a.
That's right.
So you, sorry,
Can he say that?
yeah.
He's awesome.
So there it is. Domofsky, you just ditched the coach mid-sentence to go talk to Micah Parsons, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. You know, the job calls. You got to go where the story is, and I went.
All right, Rob Domofsky is with us. Brooke Pryor is going to join us as well. So we're going to have the Packers side of it. We're going to have the Steelers side of it, because this hour begins with a reunion 20 years in the making, although it will take place in Pittsburgh. It's Aaron Rodgers on one side. It's the Green Bay Packers on the other. Rodgers and the Steelers coming off a disappointing loss to the Bengals last Thursday night. There's a lot of pressure on Rodgers, obviously, in this game. There's a lot of pressure on Jordan Love to win this game against his former mentor. There'll also be a lot of pressure on him to win, considering the Packers haven't won in Pittsburgh since 1970. The last time the Green Bay Packers won in Pittsburgh, Bart Starr was their quarterback. Since then, Green Bay has lost 6 consecutive trips, including Jordan Love's 2 seasons ago in his first year as the starting quarterback. So, as promised, we have both sides of this thing covered. You see Domofsky, you see Brooke Pryor live with us from Pittsburgh. Awesome to have both of you here. Brooke, we'll start with you. How is Rodgers approaching this game that we know he has had circled on his calendar for probably 3 years?
Well, Greeny, we'll talk to Aaron Rodgers for the first time this week in a couple hours, and I'm going to guess he'll play it pretty close to the vest, but he's already hinted at how much this game means when we talked to him after he beat the Jets in Week 1. He told us that he talked with Breece Hall on the field after the game, and he said, look, I mean, I want to win. I want to beat, any team that I play, but here in New York, I was only here for 2 years, for 18 games. It's going to feel different when I play Green Bay, because that was 18 years of my career. And he offered another hint for how it might feel to face a former team after Jabril Peppers, a former Patriots player, had a fumble recovery against the Patriots, and he said, yeah, as a former player, that's what you want. You want to make a big play against your former team to show them what they've been missing.
And just a quick follow-up for you, if I can, just on how he's looking. For the fans who are not watching every game, the last game was, of course, a nationally televised game on Thursday night. I think there's a feeling that he looks right now as good as he has looked at any point, maybe since his second to last year in Green Bay. Is that the feeling in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how Aaron Rodgers said he's feeling, too. He said that he feels more like himself. That was something he said before the Bengals game when we talked to him after that Browns win, when we first noticed that he was moving around a little bit more, extending the play more, kind of scrambling before making a throw. And we saw that against the Bengals when he took 8.6 seconds on a scramble drill to find Jonnu Smith. And he credited a lot of that to body work that he'd done with his body work guru out west during the bye week. He said he'll meet with him a couple times this season, but he's got Rodgers feeling loose. And by the way, Rodgers has only been sacked twice in the last 3 games. Micah Parsons might have something to say about that, might make Rodgers move a little less fluidly, but Aaron Rodgers is feeling like a vintage version of himself.
Yeah, Micah Parsons is a different kind of bodywork guru, if you know what I mean. But I understand the point that you make. All right, Domofsky, so to you here, how about the other side of this? The Packers going up against Rodgers. I'm old enough to remember when we lived through this 20 years ago or whatever it was with Brett Favre. How would you describe the buzz in Green Bay?
Well, with the team, Greeny, we'll start there. Maybe the guy most excited to play Rodgers is Micah Parsons. A couple of years ago, they played here. It was Parsons' second year, and he told us the other day that after that game, Aaron Rodgers went up to him and said, I want to swap jerseys with you, and Parsons couldn't believe it. He said, the GOAT wants to swap jerseys with me. As a young player, he said that gave him a huge boost of confidence. Now, he didn't sack him that game, but he said he has a ton of respect for him, but this week he wants to sack him. Inside the building, Matt LaFleur tried to make it about the game. He said, we're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers who happen to have Aaron Rodgers, and there's not that many guys here who played with him. Well, there's a few more than that. There's 13 guys that played with him, but obviously this is the young team, so a lot of guys had not played with Rodgers. But around town, Greeny, you mentioned that game, the 2 games that they played Favre in 2009. There was serious venom from a strong portion of the Packers fan base. First, for the Packers letting him go, and then second, for Favre ending up in Minnesota. It's not that way. Rodgers, I think it was just time for him to go. It was time to end. That was the feeling here then, and it's the feeling now.
So it doesn't have a similar magnitude. Guys, awesome. Thank you. Domofsky, go back to cursing at the coach. We appreciate your time. Brooke, we'll see you later today after Rodgers talks, and we'll see what he has to say. So, I mean, Jeff, I hear this from players all the time, and it doesn't matter if you're one of the most famous quarterbacks of all time or a center or anybody else.
Yeah.
When you play your former team, especially when you were there as long as you were in Indy or Rodgers was in Green Bay, it is a very different experience.
Absolutely. It's extremely emotional, much more than any other game. Everybody talks about, all games are the same, they're all created equal. That's not the truth, right? Like, this is when you look across the sideline and it's all the equipment, all the athletic trainers, all the doctors that you've known for 20 years, the coaches that you played under. Those are all relationships that you fostered for a number of years. And ultimately they decided you weren't the one for them, right? And they moved on from you. There's pain in that, right? And again, it's because it's in Pittsburgh. There's a little bit of difference. To me, all the pressure for Aaron Rodgers will be self-imposed because of those relationships. And that's just a tough, I don't care who it is. Your first throw, you want to win that one more than everybody else. And that's just the facts of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think it's numbed a little bit with the jet stop in between, to be honest. He already showed the venom. Aaron Glenn wouldn't meet with him. We had that storyline. I got to beat those guys. I want to show that. To me, this is a couple years removed. Jordan Love seems to be good there. He seems to be happy in Pittsburgh. It's almost like it's a love. I disagree with you guys. I don't feel like it's the same feeling of this charged, I've got to show them.
This
To me,
man
it's not
literally,
this.
this is, that organization said, hey, we're good on you.
Yeah.
We're good. We got this young thing, we're going to go with him. And Aaron Rodgers, when he came to the Jets, was sort of like, I was a little confused that Goody wasn't trying to sit down and talk to
FaceTimed him. He tried.
You know what I mean? I do think whether he admits it or not, you're about to see your ex. With their new thing, yeah, it's personal. Stephon Diggs playing the Bills. He said, it's personal. Like, they all admit it after the fact. That's just how they are.
Yeah.
I think Rodgers is going to want to win this game desperately for all those reasons and beyond. I think that when you look at the game itself, the Steelers are 4-2. I've never heard a 4-2 team less respected by all the people who come in here. I do 5 different shows a week. I have 5 different collections of people. I don't have one person who says,
Wait,
oh, yeah, the Steelers are good.
I'm going to push back on that. Why are you terming it as disrespected?
Well, I mean, because the record is what the record is.
Yeah, but people are also basing it off of how they've played. Did they lose to the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Flacco?
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, even before that, I think people were a little bit critical of them.
I guess what I'm
For
saying
good
is,
reason, though. When you look at their roster, all the reasons that Jeff talks about the Colts being the new Eagles and how everything works in concert together, we have moments, and in fairness, the Steelers mentioned this. Mike Tomlin's like, this bye week, we got to get this offense on track. The production in the red zone has to go up. People are wondering what happened to Pat Frymouth. He scored 2 touchdowns, but still, like everything, each drive, it's like something stalls, and then you get the Aaron Rodgers big play to DK or somebody else in the end zone.
I tell you why it is. Well, it's because the defense isn't as good as it's supposed to be. Like, Rodgers is more than holding up his end, in my opinion. Like, for a guy to be 41 going on 42 years old in a couple of weeks, I think he's doing every bit you could have asked of him. We thought he was coming to a team that had a defense that could carry him the way your buddy Peyton, with Denver at the very end.
Right.
That's not what's happening.
Yeah, we're not getting that from the defense, and I think we expect it to turn around at some point because they're still able to rush the passer, and that's always kind of what they did best, rush the passer and stop the run. The problem last week was they didn't stop the run, which then you don't get to be able to rush the passer. And winning in your pass rushes is one thing, but turning them into sacks and turnovers is another thing. They haven't been doing that nearly as often as you should, considering how successful they've been at rushing the passer. The Packers had a real hard time offensively against the Browns. The Steelers have similar personnel. Like, they have the capability to play man and rush Love and give him problems, but they haven't been able to do it so far this season against much weaker, you would think, opponents than they're going to face. So we'll see what happens, but they haven't done it.
Maybe the thing that everyone says, that the Steelers have going for them is the division. Like Graziano sitting in that chair yesterday said the most consequential result of any game in the NFL this year was Cincinnati winning that game last Thursday night because it kept everyone in the race.
And
that's
also,
the point.
everyone was injured. The Ravens were on the bye. It was like they had a Thursday night game, and they could really put their stamp on the division right here in Week 7. And they lost in historic fashion. To Neek's point, Jamar Chase was the entire operation. 23 times he was targeted, and they could not stop him. There's obviously a weak spot, and that is that defensive backfield where they invested all their money this offseason.
To finish this part of it, I love your relationship analogies all the time. So I get Rodgers. What's the Packers side of it? Like he's the one. Oh, you dumped me, and you're with your new thing. Yeah. Like what are the Packers thinking as they face Rodgers now?
We don't need you.
We good.
We good over here.
It's an emotion with which I am so unfamiliar. I can't imagine. All right, so we got all the football coming up. We have that monster game on Sunday night. And then last night, we had the opening of the NBA season. And while you were sleeping, because it was late, we had the big stars in action. We had Steph Curry. We had Luka Doncic. We had no LeBron James as the Lakers play the Warriors. He's got sciatica. But his buddy Luka was running the show last night, Monica McNutt.
Yes, he was putting that newly fine-tuned machine of a body to the test. He was great in all three facets in terms of his ability to score. Terrific on the glass, also dishing the rock. He continued to add to the Luka legacy.
He does look better. In the meantime, third quarter, there's a close game. Then the third quarter, the Warriors start to open it up. Jimmy Butler had 31 points, McNutt.
Yeah, and I think, listen, Jimmy having an opportunity to start with this season to really build on all of the things that don't show up in the box score, like chemistry, which Draymond Green and Steph Curry have doses of. I think this is going to be a good year for the Warriors.
Steph had 23, Warriors a 15-point lead. Now we're in the fourth quarter. Luka, he would score 43, had 12 rebounds, 9 assists. Now, I want you to watch this sequence here. You can follow the ball if you want, but more importantly, follow Luka Doncic. He would say afterwards, quote, "It's probably nothing." But it didn't look like nothing here.
Yeah, and of course, this will be thoroughly looked at to make sure that it is in fact nothing, because obviously Luka is the centerpiece of what the Lakers are trying to do this year.
He does look in better shape. Meanwhile, there's Steph doing Steph-like things, and in the end, the Warriors wind up winning it 119-109. All they ever do is win when they have their new big three together. They're 27-8 when that group is together. But the story last night, let's focus on Luka. Again, 43 points, 12 boards, 9 assists, no LeBron. He's the fifth player with 40, 10, and 5 in a season opener in history, joining Anthony Davis and Michael Jordan and Karl Malone, Walt Bellamy. You see the names there. When they get LeBron back, assuming they get LeBron back and he is close to what he has been, and with his maniacal conditioning, I think we can realistically expect that. The Warriors are going to be really good.
Yeah.
We saw Houston and Oklahoma City last night. They're really good.
Yep.
What are the new look Luka and new look Lakers going to be?
Well, okay, so let's say health is not a thing. I think you go back to what you saw last year, and there was a stretch where we were all gawking about how good this team was, with Luka as your centerpiece, with guys that could roll, that could get to the rim, and that could defend. But I think for me, if the Lakers can hold the line on both sides of basketball, the West is an absolute gauntlet, Greeny. And so, yes, could they find their way out of the West? Possibly, but I'm really wondering what it looks like when we get to April.
And very quickly, I got 15 seconds. For those who didn't stay up late and watch it, Luka does look different, right?
He looks fantastic, and I thought he gave great effort on the defensive side of the basketball. This can't just be a one-way addition in terms of what he's done to his body, because we know he can score, but if he can compete at a high level on the defensive side, that's really the game changer.
The new look Luka, we'll see if they are new look Lakers. We are rolling on this morning. Coming up, haven't gotten any college football yet, but we will. LSU is a preseason top 10 this year. 2 months later, is their coach coaching for his job this weekend? We'll get that question answered. Plus, are the Cowboys one big trade away from being Super Bowl contenders? Well, the answer is yes, but which player it is the complicated part. We'll